Hello, everyone. Welcome back to In Bed with Jay and Josh. I'm Jay, and this is Josh.
And we're in bed. So today, let's get on to a topic that I love to talk about: dick size.
Oh,
Does it matter?
Do you want to be honest?
Yeah.
If I'm topping, it doesn't matter. But if I'm bottoming, it kind of does.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I know that's controversial because everyone wants to think that size doesn't matter. However, I'm 6'4", and I've got a big ass
And a huge hole.
And look, like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But if it's just like sex,
Yeah.
for me, like if it's in a relationship, I don't care. Like, it doesn't really matter for me. But if it's just like sex, I do look for a hung top.
Yeah.
Right.
I know what you mean. Yeah, for sure. I think sometimes when it's like thin and small, it's like
A bit pokey.
jab, 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 you know, and you're
Yeah.
like, ooh, that feels like a knife. Yeah, so I don't know. And when it's like, you know, thick and girthy and juicy,
Yummy.
yummy. Oh, mate, do you know what? Listen, if you have a small dick, fucking own it. Become
Oh,
a bottom.
yeah.
I'm joking. No, if you have a small dick, own it. You know what the worst thing is for me? People on the internet pretending they have a giant dick by putting dildos in their sweatpants, dildos in their pants, even getting the audacity now to just like poke it out of their pants and swing it around. Like, we see that is silicone. Like, we are not dumb.
It's so obvious and so embarrassing for them.
But also, people are that dumb though.
Yeah.
Like, so many people are commenting like,
Don't
oh my
fall for
God,
it.
so hot, such
Yeah.
a big dick. And you know what the worst thing was? I saw some guy and he had it poking out the tip of his shorts, right? And I was like, that's definitely a dildo. On closer inspection, I was like, that's my fucking dildo.
No way.
No,
Really?
yeah, seriously. I was like, I would recognize my flesh sack anywhere. And I'm like, fuck off. I'm like, you paid 70 quid.
It's got like Josh Moore engraved
Literally,
on the
like at the
imprint.
base has got Josh Moore engraved. You can see the imprint of his shorts. No, but I was like, the cheek, the nerve, the gall, the audacity, and the gumption. Seriously. And I was like, I know the veins on that dick. I know the foreskin on that dick. That's my dick, honey.
But the boys that are putting dildos in their shorts and doing that is giving other men, I think, body dysmorphia.
Yeah, it's giving a complex.
And unrealistic cock expectations on like how big you should be, because none of them are real.
Yes.
They're all fake. And even like us saying that we like big dicks isn't cock shaming anyone else that doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a grower, not a shower.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes I get insecure, especially being in this industry when we're constantly taking photos and we've got to look like we've got this huge bulbous cock all the time, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And there is pressure for us to be able to
there's so
look a
much
certain
pressure.
way all the time and look like we've got a fucking 10-inch cock in our pants all the time.
You know, when I came into the industry, I was like, yeah, I've got a big dick. And then like 3 years in, I'm like, I haven't got a big dick compared to like, you see all these people and I'm like, I'm getting insecure because
Yeah.
these people are fucking 11 inches swinging them around. And I'm like, oh, wow.
But also sometimes like you see these boys on social media and then you meet them in real life for a collab and you're like, oh yeah, like it's big, but it's not that big. Like, you know,
I've worked with some people that I'm like, they get there and I'm like, oh, okay. And then you go back and look at their videos and they've warped the
Oh,
video.
yeah.
And even the video they did with me, like, I won't name names, Jake Vaughn. But literally, I did a video with him. I look back at it and he's warped like part of the video. So my hole looks like about this big and his dick looks like a fucking gorilla's bicep.
And
I'm
look, we
like,
might be breaking a few industry secrets here, but if you have the app CapCut, you can actually
warp
parts
part
of your
video.
body and expand things and make them look bigger in video content. So
Yeah.
you can edit video content as well.
But you can tell though, you can tell so
Oh, yeah.
bad because it's like this tiny twink's ass is like, I don't know, bowed out of like context. And then you got this huge dick going inside. It's just like, what?
And they usually just fuck in the same position, like very just
Yeah.
like strategically to make sure that it's hidden in a way. But like people that know what they're doing and from the industry definitely can notice that.
But it pissed me off because I was like, I didn't authorize you to warp my fucking asshole. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? To make your dick look bigger. And you've just thrown it all over the internet. And now like a weird asshole so you can look like you have a big dick.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, this guy had a huge dick anyway. He didn't need to do that.
Yeah, talk about catfishing.
Catfishing. Oh my God. Oh, do you know what the worst thing is for me? Right? I don't have Grindr, and I literally put it all over my social media. I do not have Grindr or any dating apps, right? People catfish me there all the time, and I get so many messages. Like, I swear to God, once a day or twice a day, I get a message from someone saying, "Are you in like Saudi Arabia?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Are you in Mississippi or like Missouri or some obscure place?" And I'm just like, "No, why would I be there?" And then literally, these people have created a fake document of my passport, right? And they scam people and they tell people it's me. And they're like, "I'll prove that it's me. I'll show you a picture of my passport." Like that's some sort of proof. And then they send them a link, right? And this link gets all their data off their phone. And then they blackmail them with like, "I'm going to send all these to your family contacts, all these pictures, all these whatever to your family if you don't give me money." It's fucked up. And they just set their location anywhere and or everywhere. Because I think on Grindr you can set your location wherever you want. And then they just do it in every city.
So if you see Josh Moore on Grindr, block immediately.
Block immediately. It's not me. They'll send you a link. They'll download all the shit from your phone and they will scam the fuck out of you.
I do have Grindr. I'm a single man.
So it was you.
No, as if I'd ever try to be you. I have Grindr, and I constantly have to like verify myself.
Yeah.
Especially it's not all the time, but like it definitely comes up, more often than not, where I have to kind of like send a video or link it to my Instagram or to try to verify myself because people might follow me on social media or on OnlyFans and they don't believe that I'm on Grindr. So if I'm on Grindr, don't block me. Yeah. If you see me on Grindr,
don't block him. She's desperate.
I'm desperate. Yeah, exactly.
No, but I feel
I've
like
heard
that's
a lot of
really
other
good
boys
thing,
kind of
though.
go through the same thing.
That's
like
a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good thing that people are getting you to verify yourself with like a FaceTime call or a video, because otherwise you get scams like that. Like, if you see anyone on Grindr and you don't believe it's them, do the verification process. Like, ask for a video call. Ask them to like send a picture with like 3 fingers up or something, because you really want to know who you're talking to.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can get scammed super easy. Don't fall for a fucking picture of a passport, because it's so easy to edit shit like that.
I mean, I do it all the time because I've met up with guys many, many times and they've been catfishing me or, sending photos that are old or whatever it may be. So I constantly try to encourage a video call because there's that ability to do that on the app now.
Yeah.
So it's like pretty easy to be able to have a quick chat, see if you're actually into them before you make the effort to go douche and like all the things to try to like meet up with someone, and then you get there and you're disappointed or the person isn't who they say they are. So I think it's good that the app has that inbuilt in it now, so it can try to avoid any catfishing incidents.
What about catfishing in the industry? Because seriously, some of these guys, you look at their photos and like on Instagram and stuff, and then you see them in person when you go and collab and you're like, all right, okay, yep.
Sorry to interrupt this gorgeous episode, but I couldn't help but say that posting nudes isn't a business strategy, but the ofbizschool.com is. The ofbizschool.com teaches you exactly how to turn your OnlyFans into a money-making machine. Marketing, branding, content strategy, make sense, and dollars. Sign up to the ofbizschool.com, follow the steps, and let's just say OnlyFans will be paying your rent. So if you want to stop struggling and start thriving, go to the ofbizschool.com. Trust me, your bank account will thank you. Now back to the episode.
Well, I find that the guys that post, like, especially if they're well known on social media and they post more candid stuff and videos, and it's not just like face-tuned photos all the time.
Yeah.
There's a way to be able to, check that before you get there. But I haven't had any major incidents like that. I mean, I don't work. I think you probably collaborate more than I do, and especially being in London, it's probably like more frequent that you might get catfished from OnlyFans creators. Have you got any stories?
Oh, have I? I once worked with this creator and his photos were like fucking gorgeous. And I was like, oh wow, like this guy's hot. This was about like 4 years ago, I think. And he turned up to my door and he was literally like the fucking Temu version. And I was like, what? I was like, that is not you.
Look, I love Temu.
I love Temu too. Yeah. But no, I was seriously like, this is not an advert for Temu, by the way. I was like, that is not fucking you. Like, this is ridiculous. It was like, you know that meme of that horse and it slowly gets like worse and worse and worse, like a kid's drawing.
Yeah.
It's like a proper like fine
like a
art
kid's drawing version of a horse.
Yeah, it's like a fine art drawing of a horse's butt, and then it goes into like a kid's drawing. It was like, you're the kid's drawing. It was like fucked up. I was like, how can you catfish people like that? Like, and I did the collab because I felt bad and I felt so awkward. How could I be like, you're not your picture, I don't want to collab with you anymore?
I'm surprised. I thought you would.
No, I mean, a lot of people would, but actually I was too embarrassed. And that's what they bank on though. This is what these catfishers bank on Grindr, on OnlyFans, whatever. They bank on you being too awkward and too polite, so you just pity fuck them.
Pity fuck.
Give them a little pity fuck. Oh,
I mean,
dear.
I'm the opposite. If I turn up to someone's house or if they come to mine, it hasn't really happened anytime recently, but especially like when I first started hooking up with guys in my 20s, if someone would come over, and even if like the chemistry wasn't there, you know, like sometimes they're beautiful, whatever, they're attractive, I'm into them physically, but then the chemistry isn't there. We'll start making out and I'll be like, you're a terrible kisser in my head.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, look, I'm not into it. Sorry, no offense. Like sometimes I'll try to soften the blow, but it's also, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't have to feel bad for kicking someone out in a nice way if you're not feeling it.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah. You should always,
if I'm not comfortable, I'm not comfortable. Sorry.
you should always really go with your gut and like stick up for your boundaries.
And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bitchy thing.
Welcome to the stage, Noah Fence.
Period. Have you had any like situations or advice to people that want to get out of a catfishing situation, or you just fucking pity fuck them every time?
I'm the worst person to ask because probably would pity fuck them every time.
A hole's a goal.
Oh, no. No, because by that time you're like horny and you just yeah. Anyway, no, but I just like, just go with your gut, like, and really stick up for your boundaries. I think, yeah, you need to have those boundaries, and also you need to like respect yourself and your own boundaries. And like, I think if you go ahead and do it, it's going to affect you mentally in the future. You're going to be like, oh, you're going to feel really bad. You're going to feel, well, why did I do that? Why did I put myself through that when I didn't want to do it? That's going to make you feel bad. So just go with your gut and just say no. It's okay to say no, okay?
Or just, you know, say that your sister's just gone into hospital, or you have an emergency that you need to go attend
Make up
to.
a crazy emergency.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. My dad's just had a skiing accident.
There's been an avalanche in some mountain in Switzerland. I've got to go.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, well, I've recently started experimenting with cruising.
Cruising.
Because, you know, I've been on the apps and I've, you know, been doing OnlyFans and things like that. And I just needed something new to kind of like implement into my, you know, sexual experiences.
Yeah.
And I think in my 20s, I was always afraid to go into cruising situations because I thought that it was unsafe and I thought that it was unsanitary and I thought I'd get some like disease, or like, I also like to be able to verify who I'm hooking up with before I meet them. And I just thought that going into a cruising situation where I don't really know who they are, I might not be able to even like see what they look like because it's dark or whatever it is.
I think that's the point.
Yeah, I've discovered that being anonymous and that type of hookup is actually really quite hot.
Yeah.
And have enjoyed it. And I don't really like going to like a park in the nighttime. I don't really love that style of cruising. That's not for me. But happy to do it in the daytime.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it in the past for videos. Like I don't so much enjoy it now. It was more of like my younger self. So when I was like 26, went to Berlin and we went to the famous, I went with a fellow like creator. We wanted to make like a really cool video. It was back in the day when you could actually put public content on OnlyFans.
Okay, yeah.
And you could put content like without tagging everyone. So we went to the cruising forest in Berlin, and we made a really cool video. And Yeah, I enjoyed it back in the day when I was a young'un. But yeah, it's not really for me now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I like going to a bathhouse. I like that kind of thing. I like group sex, like going to exclusive parties, maybe in like Barcelona or things like that, where you can like do that kind of thing. Even like fucking on the beach for me is like the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I find that so such a turn on.
I think I would like a beach fuck, you know? I don't think I've ever really done a beach
Really?
fuck. Yeah.
I do it all the time.
No, I think you know what I would love to go to, like, I'd love to go to a nude beach and like have sex with my boyfriend. Yeah.
so hot.
Just like, you know, like not joining in with anyone, but like I would love to like just kind of be on the side and fuck and kind of just know that everyone's watching.
There's this nude beach in Australia where I live, and
Sydney. The one in Sydney.
no, it wasn't in
I've
Sydney,
been to
it
the
was
one
in
in
Queensland.
Sydney. It's really cool.
It's in an area where there's not a lot of gays or whatever, so you do have to generally organize something through Grindr and meet up there.
Yeah.
Because it's not somewhere that, you know, is usually, you know, a lot of guys passing through. But I met up with a guy on this beach in Queensland, and we were hooking up like on the rocks.
I think
near
I
the
saw
beach.
that video.
It was quite exclusive. Oh, there's a couple of different. I don't think it was that one. I didn't record that particular one.
Because that was really, really hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I love it. Like, it's something that I do on a frequent basis, and something that I never used to do in my 20s. I've only really started doing it in the last few years.
She's coming to her own.
But I also find that people in the area that I live in tend to hook up outdoors more than at their house for some reason.
I mean, if I lived there and it was all sunny, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But him and I were like hooking up, we were having sex, whatever, and like we were like mid thrust, and like we just hear these people from above us kind of like yelling at us like, faggot, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
And we didn't realize that right directly above us was a lookout. So people are like on the lookout, they look down on the rocks, and there's
no.
me and this other guy
With one of
going
those
for it.
telescopes you put a little fucking quarter
It
in.
wasn't that high. No, like it was only probably, I don't know, like 50 meters up. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like, you know, that high, but like we didn't stop. We just kept
stop,
going, and we just
kept
laughed
going.
at it. We're like, oh, that's funny.
Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off.
Move along. Go around.
A nude beach. God, could go somewhere else. There's like 1,000,001 beaches in Australia, yet you want to come and like look at this one?
Yeah. I mean, I think I would enjoy that if I lived in a sunny country. Imagine going out in London in the rain and the cold.
great.
Well, yeah, shrivel on.
There's quite a big cruising culture in Sydney as well because of that fact, I think. Because
Yeah,
it's,
I
like,
mean, because of the
warm
weather,
and-
yeah.
yeah.
I think when it's hot weather and stuff, it like puts you in heat, doesn't it? You're like,
Oh, yeah. Like when it's miserable and raining, you go on Grindr and there's like no one is active.
Yeah.
And then when you go on like at the end of the day after it's been hot and everyone's been at the beach and everyone's just like blowing you up. It's so funny.
blowing you.
Blowing,
and
us
you
up, honey.
Blowing you back out.
Blowing me back out, hopefully.
Oh. So what do you think about sexual identities like top versus bottom versus top? What are you?
Look, I think I'm like 100% first these days, but honestly, before I started doing collabs with OnlyFans, I was primarily top. I've always been a top in all of my relationships, and that's always been the role that I felt most comfortable in. But since doing OnlyFans and doing collabs, I've equally been versed, and I'm really enjoying that and rediscovering like my bottoming era.
Yeah.
And I've really been able to work out the right techniques to be able to prepare for bottoming, using a dildo to help me stretch before I meet up with a guy, and just like getting a bit more practice in, I guess you would call it.
It takes a lot of work, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Well, like honestly, every New Year's Eve, my New Year's resolution would be to be a better bottom because I was just so
be a better
terrible
bottom.
at it. And I think because I'm 6'4" and I'm like a big guy, I always thought that I would be such a monster to fuck.
Yeah,
you know?
no one's gonna want to top you. Giant.
And like I always attracted like the bottoms because I was so big and, you know, had this masculine kind of like physique. So I tend to just like roll with that. And I love topping as well. Like I equally love both now. And I think that like I love that. Like I love that I'm not just isolating myself sexually just to one role, because we have the benefit as gay men to do both. So why would you limit yourself, you know?
Yeah, we have the benefit to do it all.
Yeah.
I think, as I've grown older, I think, you know, when I first started having sex with men, I just bottomed just because I was young and I kind of was like, You know when
But
you
that's what it meant to be gay.
yeah, that's what it meant to be gay. And then I didn't really start topping until I was like, what? Until I got into porn, which was weird for me. And then I slowly kind of got back into bottoming, and it's just a process, isn't it? You know, it took me so many years, like up until I was probably about 28 or something, to actually fine tune the art of douching. Because for me, I used to douche for
It took me till
hours
12 months ago, babe.
to reach. She's only just learned.
Yeah,
You are
literally.
shitting on dicks left, right, and center.
Literally, I've had a few bloody near misses.
Yeah. But it took me so long to fine tune it. And before that, I was douching for hours and hours, and I just thought that was normal. I thought it was normal to be like,
Because no one educates you on how to do it.
no,
you know?
exactly. So for anyone out there, my technique, it might not work for everyone. Use the shower hose, get a douche attachment, which is like a long, it's like a little dildo thingy, isn't it?
You can screw it onto the hose.
Yeah. And you want the water pressure to be coming out, but you don't want it to be going like, you know, shooting out. You want the water pressure to be like that, you know? You want it to have a curvature. So you want it really quite light pressure. So it's like that. And then you want to put it up and then go 1, 2, 3, take it out, rinse and repeat. Do you know what I mean? Until you're clean. Because when you get the pressure too high, you're going to push it up into the second hole. And that's what you don't want to do, because the second hole, full of shit.
Yeah. Full of shit. Well, especially when I'm doing OnlyFans collaborations, I don't really eat the day or like the morning before I film.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons. I don't really like being fucked when I'm full of food.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I'm like clean, no risk of having any accidents. I usually take 2 or 3 Imodiums just to slow down my digestive tract to make sure that, you know, once again, there's no accidents. And then, like you said, I go into the shower and use the shower attachment to make sure that I'm like cleaning out. If that isn't available, I'll use the attachment on either like a bulb douche, or if I
just
don't
a
have
water
that,
bottle.
I'll use a water bottle, pump bottle, and just screw that on. And I don't really like using those because you never really know how much water's going up there, and it never really gets up there, and it's less effective. But we improvise sometimes when we have to.
I find that a bulb, you think there's not much water in there because it's a small bulb, but there is actually a lot.
Yeah.
So when you push that all up in there, it's actually much more than it would be using like a low pressure shower hose.
And your colon in the space that you're trying to clean out isn't that big.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
It's probably like, you know, this big. Like it's not big. And then I have a
Some bigger
dildo
than
that I
others.
also... Yeah, exactly. It depends on what you're into as well. Like if you're trying to douche for fisting or other big objects, then you probably need to have a different process.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
want to
really
go
into
second
that.
hole, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's probably a tip for another day.
But I will say everyone's digestive system, everyone's colon is different. So
Yeah.
and also we're not
This
saying
is just really what works for us. you
yeah,
know?
we're not saying what we do is healthy either. I don't know about taking so many Imodium is healthy. I don't know. We don't know, but this is what we do. And obviously, I think you should take fiber supplements as well. Fiber supplements,
And
are
fiber
great.
supplements, yeah.
Keep your shit together. But yeah, also
Get your shit
Get
together,
your
girl.
shit together with Flawless for Men, available on Amazon, US and UK.
Get that plug, honey.
But I always think, douching as well as a dildo as well.
Yeah.
So I get like kind of a long, skinny dildo, put some lube on it, douche. When the water runs clear, give it a check, shove it right up there, and see if you're good to go.
Swing it around.
Swing it around, throw it out the window.
I'm the opposite. I've got like quite a thick one
Yeah.
because I also want to be able to like
Stretch
stretch
as well,
at the
yeah.
same time. Just because
Good
like,
advice.
it's really helped me because I think anyone that's tried bottoming knows that when it goes in the first time, it fucking hurts. It usually takes a couple of
Yeah.
like in and out to be able to
That's why you should stretch before.
make it happen. Yeah,
And
so
also
that
like
helps.
to avoid it's good to stretch before as well to avoid fissures. Jay Fisher. Oh, is that your real name
Huh?
or your porn name?
Phil Fisher. I mean, it could be my porn name.
Could be.
Yeah. I mean, that's my name.
Fisher, like the anal Fisher. No, so you could, it's stretching before to avoid anal fissures and also, what's the other one? Hemorrhoids. So yeah, if you give it a good stretch, you're going to avoid those things.
And just practice with yourself at home. Like we've got dildos available. There's stretching devices that can help you. There's butt plugs that you can start from like tiny and work your way up to make sure that you are just like practicing at home. It's like anything. Like you've really got to just work on it yourself and be patient.
You can get a little set as well, butt plugs that go from tiny to bigger. And just learn to stretch yourself.
Yeah.
And the butt plugs are good because you can pop them in or leave them in. And then that kind of, if you leave them in for a couple of hours, like you'll be good to go.
Sometimes you might not discover your process and what works for you until you're in your 30s like me.
Yeah.
Like I honestly have probably bottomed 10 times in my 20s and I've probably bottomed, 100 times since I've turned 30. So it's like, just because it's not working for you now doesn't mean that you're not going to rediscover it later on, and just kind of like give yourself some time to discover it in your own time too.
Yeah, what I was going to ask is like, what do you think about strict tops?
Look, I think that it's controversial, especially in porn, because like people put out this like strict top, dom top kind of like persona, and you know what?
They're getting gangbanged in their private life.
Like, good for you, girl. Like, that's a brand. But I do think that it also breeds like this toxic masculinity thing within the industry.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that.
Well, not everyone needs a bottom either.
No, not everyone needs a bottom. And do you know what? I think some people's fucking anuses are just not made for it.
Yeah.
Or they just haven't experimented enough. That's the thing. I think some strict tops is like, oh yeah, well, it really doesn't do it for me. It hurts or whatever. And I'm like, have you tried stretching before? Have you tried like...
Look, I think a strict top doesn't fuck as well as a verse.
Yes.
Because they don't know how it feels.
Yes.
Like they don't know the right positions to put you in. They don't know how it feels. So they might fuck you like a jackhammer.
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
Like, that doesn't work and work, babe.
The
Like, that's not
jackhammering for me is like, who is the audience for? Like, who is enjoying that? And it's like, it's mostly the gay for pay guys. They're jackhammering people like they're trying to kill you. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, do women enjoy that? I don't think so. So why are you doing it? Because if women don't enjoy, I don't know.
It's like how gay guys give better blowjobs than women because we know what it feels like to receive a blowjob.
We know our way around a dick.
That's probably controversial, but it's true.
Controversial, but it is true.
So if you are a dom top and you've never been fucked, go and get fucked and it'll make you a better top.
Yes. Learn from being a bottom.
Yeah. Learn from bottoming how to be a top.
Yes.
Like that's the real tea. Honey.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Some of the worst fucks of my life have been strict tops.
Yeah, of course. Because they don't know fucking what they're doing or how, like what it feels like.
Exactly. Know the way around your own butthole to know the way around other people's buttholes.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. You heard it first from Jay and Josh.
On In Bed with Jay and Josh.
On In Your Hole with Jay and Josh.
Have you ever had like an insatiable sexual appetite?
Yes, I have.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, I think I got into porn in the first place because I had an insatiable sexual appetite. And I think as I've grown older, it's got less and less. But I'm one of those people, like, I don't even have to use like Viagra or anything to do scenes because I have like a random boner all the time. But I think my most insatiable is like with my boyfriend, you know, when I have a boyfriend, it's like, you're always just around each other and just one look in the eyes and I'm like rock solid. And then we would just fuck everywhere and anywhere. Like gym toilets, we're in a restaurant, I'm like, meet me in the bathroom in like 10 minutes.
That's hot.
Yeah, like literally just everywhere. We're just always at it, like everywhere we can. And that just makes me insatiable. I think it's love. Love makes me like super insatiable, like sexually. And just that connection.
Oh, Josh is actually romantic.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
very. No, I just think with the sexual connection with like OnlyFans and work and stuff, it's like, that is just a sexual connection, right? Whereas because I have had that all the time, it's not as powerful for me as like the love sexual connection. So it doesn't really make me super horny or insatiable. Whereas the love part is like, that's what gets me going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't say that I've ever had an insatiable sexual appetite. I guess comparing it to what you were saying about relationships, I've had a few relationships in my 20s, and all the guys that I've dated are great guys, and we had a great time. But I find that I'm more sexually active when I'm single. I find that when I'm in a relationship, especially after the first year, I start to lose interest. And that's not because I'm not attracted to them or I don't love them. I just find that sexually, the chemistry and the vibe, I get a bit bored.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to have either an open relationship to try to like meet my sexual needs. Because I've found that with the relationships that I've had in the past, it does kind of fizzle out for me.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that I'm going to be satisfied with a monogamous relationship. That's me.
Yeah, no, I get you, but I think you've got to learn how to change it up, though. That's the thing. I think I've learned how to like really switch it up in the bedroom and start exploring a lot of different things that you wouldn't really necessarily think about exploring. And also, I think it's about effort as well, like the effort you put into it, and like really sometimes, instead of just thinking like, oh, the grass is greener and I'm going to get a better sexual experience because I've had that for so long, I'm going to get like a new thing somewhere else. Instead of thinking that, think of what can I do to make it more spicy and to like spice up and to really connect again on that level.
Well, doing OnlyFans now, I mean, I've had one boyfriend since I've started doing clubs on OnlyFans, and that was interesting, trying to balance our relationship and him being monogamous to me, but me going and fucking other guys
Yeah, that's
for videos. And that's the
my
situation that you're in as well. And it was, it worked, and it wasn't the reason why it didn't work. However, at the stage of life I'm in now, I think I'm going to prefer to be single for a while until I really just like get myself to a stage of life where I'm more established and whatever. But I also think that it's more fair to the other person to do that. So then I can focus on myself and my business and being able to create content without having to consider them or compromise or hurt them or, I just think, I mean, look, if there's someone out there that might be perfect for me, I am available. But at this stage in life, until that perfect guy comes along, I'm not looking for it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I had to get to the stage where it's all about communication, and I really have to be very communicative. And also because I can do my work and collab and have sex with these guys on collab trips or for work, then my job now is to make sure I make like so much time and so much effort and so much make him feel special and give so much sexual energy and make sure it's like really hot and sexy. And I love that, I love that feeling where like I can't wait to go home and like really fucking rock as well. Do you know what I mean? And give him like things that I would never give,
But also at the same time, like how, like you wouldn't even really be able to know what it's like, because we do OnlyFans, right? Like consider this. You've never really had a relationship when you've been completely monogamous to them. Because you've been having sex with other people.
Before
it might be work related.
Before I did porn, I've had relationships that are totally monogamous. Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see how you would be
totally monogamous
if you didn't do collabs.
Yeah. Be interesting.
Yeah. Maybe you should try it. Maybe try it sometime.
try just giving up my job.
Yeah, just leave porn.
Yeah, just leave porn. Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
No, I love having you in porn, baby.
Partner in crime.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like I think that's a good point though, because like it's not something that you've experienced in a while.
Yeah, it's not something I've experienced in a while. But no, I think what I do now in my relationship really works, and it also takes a lot of hard work though as well. So you really have to put the effort in, which I think a lot of people just give up on. That's the thing. A lot of people get, and I myself like have given up on it before, and as I get older, I'm now getting into that headspace where I'm like, I can't just give up because it's hard. I can't just give up on love because it's getting a bit difficult.
Yeah.
I need to stop thinking, oh, the grass is greener on the other side, when it's not. And I'm just getting in my head because it's becoming difficult. And when you get into those difficulties, you just have to push harder and love harder. And that's the tea, hunt tea. So I want to talk about, who are your inspirations in the industry, if you have any?
I mean, my inspiration in life is always going to be my mother, because she's always been a single mother, always had a full-time job, who's always had food on the table, always looked glamorous every single day.
Glamour.
And she's always going to be my number one person that has inspired me. In the industry, I love Rocky Unleashed.
Yeah.
He was interviewed on this podcast, and he's been on our collab trip this time around.
He is pretty inspirational.
And I could just talk to Rocky for hours on end. He just is so wise. And I think because he has so much knowledge on human design, he can really like help you pick apart certain things that are going on in your life in a positive way, and help you unpack things in a way that you're able to digest and translate it. I'm quite spiritual and I really love his perspective. But besides that, I haven't really got any other inspirations when it comes to content. Like, I admire a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that I get inspiration of.
I've got a few. Francois Sagat has always been an inspiration to me.
Is he the guy with the tattooed head?
Yeah. He's just a legend. We've met quite a few times, and we've worked together as well. And he was kind of one of my idols when I was growing up, like 14 years old. And then I came into the industry and was working with him, and it was just so full circle moment. But he's always an inspiration just because he's a fucking icon legend. I also think Marvis, he's so, call me Mr. Kent.
Call me Mr. Kent.
Call me Mr. Kent. He's such an inspiration. Like, just because he looks gorgeous, and also he has a passion like outside of OnlyFans. So he does his OnlyFans, he creates amazing content. And then he's like this fashion icon, like gets millions and millions of views on TikTok and Instagram. And he's just like fucking legend.
Well, because he comes from a fashion background.
Yeah, he was
and
modeling
he modeled
first, yeah.
A lot in his 20s, and he's modeling again now. He was actually someone before I started doing collabs a couple of years ago that I followed and admired, and really loved how stylish his content was and how creative and artistic it was. And he's gorgeous. Like, he literally looks like
gorgeous,
like the Spanish or the Argentinian.
Yes.
Superman.
Yes.
Like, he's gorgeous.
Oh my God, yes.
And he's such a lovely guy. Like, we did
He's
a collab.
such a sweetheart.
A couple of years ago, and then he came to Marbella with us. And
You're about to say Marbs, weren't you?
he came to Marbella for that content trip, and he was very like motherly, cooking everyone dinner.
Oh my God, he was cooking dinner for everyone in like full, what's it called? Like
couture,
full couture, sunglasses, full gown, like literally cooking dinner with gloves, and it was just hilarious. It was so funny.
Yeah, and anyone that's able to really like infuse their passion, whether it's fashion or anything else, into what they do with OnlyFans, I really respect that they're able to be unique and put their own stamp on the industry.
Yeah, I love things like that. Like him and Ajax, like with his gardening and stuff. Yeah. It's just beautiful to see.
And Rocky with his human design stuff that he's implementing into his business too. Yeah, inspiring
for sure. And I think for me also, one more person, Sir Peter. I love Sir Peter. Mm-hmm. He's one of those people. He's such a kind guy, and he's just made it so big in the industry, and he's still so kind of humble and grounded, and he's always so sweet. I love him.
Yeah, I have the same type of feelings for Raheem.
Yes.
Like, Raheem is like a machine. Like, the man is a machine, but he's also so humble and so beautiful and so kind and caring and gentle when you meet him, and you might not expect that from him, just because he is such a powerhouse in the industry.
Yeah.
And he's almost like, for a lot of creators coming up now, like a rite of passage to work with him.
Yeah, he's very good at like, he kind of creates stars, doesn't he?
He does.
Like, people work with him and then they get really big.
But he has the ability to really like pick them out and like nurture them, bring them under his wing and look after them. And I really admire that nurturing thing that he has.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So to end with, do you have any like life mottos or words that you live by?
I have a couple of different ones, but the one that I love the most is, life isn't perfect, but it is what you make it. So make it memorable, make it count, and never let anyone steal your happiness. Because that helps me when it comes to business, when certain things don't work out. That helps me with relationships or friendships where things are going wrong. At the end of the day, life is not perfect. and it is what you make it. And I want to make my life memorable, and I want to make every opportunity count. And I don't want anyone to ever steal my happiness or give them the power to,
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly.
What's yours, Dal?
Oh, I've got a few. So, first one, I think hoes don't get cold. You know, I think the bigger the hoe you are, the more you can regulate your body temperature. And that is the best life advice I can give you. Go out and be a hoe. You know, I've been there, you know, on the street.
You're feeling
corners.
cold? Go be a hoe.
Yeah, I've been on the street corners, you know, and it hardens you to life and temperatures.
I love that. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, and I've got one more.
Okay.
More of a profound one. It's more like, it's not like a saying, it's more like a just kind of thing that I think. So I think you should be like a tree, right? So there's not always going to be light in your life, and there's sometimes going to be darkness, but like a tree, the roots are always in the dark and the leaves are always in the light. So you as a person, you're like a tree. You have darkness, which sometimes can feed you to bring out the light. So, you know, I don't know what that means, but
I love it.
I love
It means something to you, though.
It means something to me. I don't know if people can, you know, coagulate that one, but yeah, something like that.
I'll have one more, and it's something that has helped me when it comes to, because I move around a lot and friendship's always changed no matter like who you are. When I was growing up, and, you know, especially in my 20s, I always took it personally when I had a best friend that maybe like was putting distance between me and them. And I took it personally. But I think as I got older and I got more mature, I realized that, you know what, I'm on my path, they're on their path, and it's okay for there to be distance. And the way that I'm able to articulate that to other people is like, consider yourself as the center of your universe. And sometimes you might have your best friend that's like right next to you. And then sometimes they might, you know, be like over here, like a little bit further out. And then someone else might be there, but they're still revolving around you. Like, if you think about it as a solar system, they're still in your universe, you know? And look, I get that sometimes things might happen and there might be issues within relationships. But for me, I always find that I never want to burn that bridge, because they're probably going through their own stuff. I'm going through my own stuff. I don't take it personally if nothing has happened. And it's just like that distance is there. They're always there. They're always in your universe, and they might come back and they might go further away. But I just don't take that personally. And I always used to make myself really upset and almost like insert myself even more in their life. But I found that since I stopped doing that and I've just let them go about their journey in life, we've usually come back later and it's been fine, and it's like no time has passed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like this saying, like, learn to be okay with the silence.
Yeah.
Because it's like, just because your friend isn't speaking to you every day doesn't mean that you're not still exactly the same. Like, I had to get to that point with my girlfriends. So we've been friends for 20 years, since we were like literally this high.
Yeah.
And growing up in my 20s, I used to get really sad when, you know, I didn't hear from them, or they didn't speak to me in a while, or they didn't invite me here, or they didn't invite me there or something. And then I just had to realize everyone has their own lives. You can't be invited to everything.
No.
Not everyone's going to think of you all the time. And just, learn to be okay with the silence. Like, if you want to reach out, reach out. And if they want to reach out, reach out. Everyone has their own lives. But I just learned that when we do get together, it's just exactly the same as it's always been.
Exactly.
And you learn to let those friends go in a certain sense and not be so clingy and needy. And you just have to learn to be okay with that. Learn that you're not going to be invited everywhere. It doesn't mean you're not good friends. And when you do get together with those friends, it's just going to be exactly the same as usual. You know, I think you need to stop being so needy with your friends and just learn to appreciate the time you spend together, and stop trying to force time when it's not right or
look, I
not
encourage
necessary.
my friends to go and hang out with other people. Like, I don't want to be so codependent with people.
Yeah.
And I also have realized that if you do insert yourself and you are needy, it ruins a relationship.
Yeah, it's kind of force, isn't it?
It forces it. And everyone has different needs. We all grow and change over time and mature at different stages in life. So I just think everyone needs to just respect that everyone's on their own path and it's okay. And usually, especially in your 20s, like we all change so much so frequently.
Yeah.
So you're constantly like shedding friends.
Yeah.
But usually, like when you get into your 30s, like you're able to really just like have a bit more maturity and respect those friendships even more. It is something that we all struggle with, especially in our 20s. And I've realized now in my 30s that it's okay to just let that go or not, you know, be as needy when it comes to those friendships.
Yeah, basically advice is just let that shit go.
Yeah.
And on that
And on that note,
I'm going to go let this shit go.
thanks for watching In Bed with Jay and Josh. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.